What is up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the new episode of the Wicked Crazy Podcast. How y'all doing today? It is right after the 477. Hope everybody's doing well. Just make sure everybody tap the bell and hit the notifications also. So let's get right to the nitty gritty. This week's been a little bit of crazy. I'm going to talk about the usual stuff, NXT, Smackdown, Raw, but a lot of stuff with the Great American Bash picks. Going to talk about some personal things. Try to give you guys a peek of what's going on in my head. Talk about the Evolve deal. Just mixing bits and pieces and stuff. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this, and we'll just go from there. So to start, why don't we go from this? So the Great American Bash happened last week. It was amazing. Bunch of great matches overall. The four-way with Nox, Kai, and LeRae and Yim was really good. All four women were trying to canvas the ring as Tegan and Mia started the match, and Candice and Dakota stood outside. Basically, Candice was trying to sneak around, try to make sure she wasn't hurt that much. But the main rivalry in this whole match was Kai and Nox, and that was amazing. One time, a lot of people keep saying they wish they could keep fighting for a while. Nox with the super kick as, Nox turns around and hits a running uppercut in exchange of corner kicks by Mia and Kai. Kansas is out with Soul Food with Yim hitting it. After the commercial, there were dual cannonballs by Yim and Nox on Kai. Yim hits a dragon suplex as Mia uses Kai as a launching pad with a head scissors and a tope for Mia on Nox and Kai. Right afterwards, the spot where Mia hits, soul food on Nox, and Nox was smart enough to actually roll away, was really good because of the fact that it basically gave the tempo a little bit slower, more methodical. So, what's up, Messiah? Kai eliminates with Arcane roll up on Mia, which creates the second elimination. And then the match basically starts up from there and just goes buck wild. Kai and Nox were literally going after each other, beating the crap out of him. It was an extremely physical match. At one point, Dakota is kicking the crap out of Tegan and launches Nox in the ring. At one point, Dakota hits the chiropractor and Nox kicks out. It's extremely physical, extremely high octane, high durable, and Nox brings out Dakota's submission and beats it. And the Molly go around, what was that? That came out of nowhere. Like, holy crap. And then Nox hits the shiniest wizard and is your now new number one contender for the women's title. And that match between her and Io will be insane. That is a match that I would love to see because you got two hungry people wanting to be the best of the best. So it is well worth it. Hopefully you guys see everything going on here. I can see it on one side. I can't see it on the other. So just bear with me on that. Alright. So let's just keep going because I guess I can't see the chat on one end. So just bear with me. I know people are there. So the promo with Cross with the tarot cards with Scarlet, with the card saying Judgment, it made me think about possibly a takeover with the name Judgment. I mean, we'll talk more about the picks later, but I mean, it could be a possibility that something's going to happen with that segment basically. Ripley and Stone was a squash match basically. What's up, Sean? You having a little bit of a pissa? Having a wicked time tonight? Um, Stone was started out. He looked like Little Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch Out with all that stuff going in the background, with the boxing stuff, the goggles, and everything. It looked really weird, really interesting, and just one of those things where it just seemed fun to watch. I mean, the match was a squash match regardless of how it went down, but at the end of it all, it was fun. Aaliyah had a good, strong showing. She took Ripley a little bit with Stone, but Rhea was in full control of the match, the entire match. Aaliyah shows some promises as the last few weeks as she's getting more reps on TV, which is great. But eventually, they're gonna have to figure out what to do with her. That combo crossface with Stone and Aaliyah was really good, but Rhea kicks out after a double suplex and reverses another one attempt was really good. A lot of spots. Of course, Rhea's going to win with the Prism Trap and make them both submit, but it was a good match. If anything that happens between these three, I wouldn't mind seeing Martinez get into the mix and have her do something to push Rhea a little bit more. Try to make her a lot more stronger. I mean, she is a viable talent, but she could be a lot more center stage. And the run she had last year was amazing. The only other person who could touch her with that run is Keith Lee. But I think she needs to be pushed further in order to be won a lot more. She was handed a lot of stuff, it seemed, when she was NXT champion. They need to allow her to grow and be a lot better, or they need to move her up. It has to be give or take. It's got to be one or. The strap match, oh my God. That and, Thatcher and Oni, holy crap. Now, Thatcher and Oni match was insane. Both of them were extremely technical. My notes don't have that because of the fact that I watched the show a little later and they skipped a good bunch of stuff here and there because I was using an app to watch it. I was writing it at work a little bit. But I remember that match clearly, and oh my God, that match was insane. I just want to retouch on that because if they're giving us matches like that, sign me up. Give me an Oni and Thatcher show anytime, anyway. It's like, oh my God, that is just... He literally made people in Boston extremely proud for that match. It was like, it wasn't Talk Town, but people need to see that match has to happen again. But Loomis himself is basically on par. You put Thatcher and Loomis in a match, that's going to be psychologically on par. It's going to be a lot of great things that comes out of that. Loomis was strong out the gate with him and Strong. It was just incredibly physical. You could see the welts on Loomis's body. It was very distinctive. Loomis is basically kicking the crap out of Strong, kind of like a Stone Cold kicks in the corner. Strong trying to rally back, but Loomis seems like he's in love with it. He just was in awe of how much pain he was taking. There are good compromises, and a lot of people can compare to is that I think Loomis psychologically kind of reminds me of Mankind. Mankind loved being punished, loved being beaten, and as Mick Foley doesn't like it about talking about it now, possibly, and that's me saying possibly, it's one of those things. Oh, come on, baklava, really? I'm an Irish dude. I have an aunt who's Greek. That stuff's awesome. But on the real though, it's like everything else works out. Um, Loomis is basically the type psychologically he reminds me of the Taker, where Taker basically walks in and just can be stunning and quiet, whereas the physicality is the same. Um, Loomis is using Strong as a rag doll, but Strong gets him some offense with a running knee. Strong is screaming, "I'm not afraid of you." That had to be the line of the night. That was like some horror movie stuff. Um, the spot with Fish kicking him out of the way was interesting and hitting it. You could set up the next spot where they're using the strap and Fish comes in between them and just drops like a tank. You know, it's just amazing. The spot where Strong uses the Boston Crab submission on Loomis with the strap. Loomis gets out of it. Before that, Loomis wins with the silence, and the match was extremely vicious, really good. It was awesome as hell. The momentum was going back and forth, but Loomis was too much for Strong, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do next tomorrow, especially if they're going to do anything with the whole Undisputed Era angle with Loomis. If they could just push it towards more for TakeOver, but I'm really hoping that they do something good. You're going to get a match anyways, regardless. They did announce that Candice and Mia are going to fight tomorrow in a street fight. On top of that, no holds, kind of like a street fight, no holds bar type. Swerve Scott's fighting tomorrow against Johnny Gargano. That was kind of predictable. The main event was phenomenal. This main event has to be one of the top 10 matches of the year, bar none. Especially with the cars. The cars are. We're talking about the match, but the setup itself. Then I forgot to point out. The 2014 Jaguar that Sasha came out. That had to be a 2021 Viper GTR, and that had to possibly be a 67 Chevy Corvette that were in there. Those cars are really good, nice cars. And being a car nut, that is really hard to get, especially the Viper GTR. Sasha rolls up with her dog in there too. Murrow said at one point that, Sasha's going to serve a Beantown beat down on Io. I was like, that's going to be wicked. A pissa right there. That's going to be a freaking donkey's run right there. Sasha's gear is the same as Sting's from Bash, years ago, the red, white, and blue. Sasha and Io showing up why they are the top two women on their brands. Io's in control. Ed hits a missile dropkick and a crossbody on the outside. Double stomp on Sasha. Io is basically showing why she is the NXT champion. Io is in control. Double knees, and Banks is back on her feet as Io is on the trio wall, and Banks screaming, "You wouldn't be here without me. You wouldn't be here without me." That is an insane line to say because it's kind of poignant and true. Half of this talent wouldn't be there if it wasn't people like Sasha and everybody doing what they're doing. And before they got there, it wouldn't be where NXT would be without them. That's the truth. It's sad, but it's true. Io goes for the 619, and both are trying to get the momentum. Io's on top. Sasha kicks her and goes for the sunset flip powerbomb, and it connects that spot. Oh my God, that spot against the plexiglass and right down on the ground. That was like a cringe moment. That was a hockey moment. If you're a hockey fan, you'd appreciate freaking getting a forecheck right against that whole thing. Holy crap. That was something. That was an awesome spot. And I saw that and I was just like, huh? What? it's interesting with the plexiglass now. It comes in as a weapon and a protection. But this match was literally top 10. It was hard hitting. Asuka shows up out of nowhere, sprays the mist, and banks. Asuka's dancing around. Asuka doing anything is great. Io wins with the moonsault, and they both going out crazy. You can't say more about these two people. They're really good with what they do, and they represent the women's division in WWE all across the board. I wouldn't be surprised if you tell me in a years from now it will be when Becky gets back, Becky versus Io. You can book that. I wouldn't be surprised at some point down the line those two go at it. So I ended up watching the review show a little bit, and Sean mentioned that, or somebody mentioned on Twitter about the whole bro count that Vince likes, hearing Riddle say bro. So I ended up counting every single time in that whole thing with Cole. Riddle talks about how great it is to be from NXT to SmackDown. Says that him beating AJ was going to happen. He said he could get used to all this. At this point in time, the bro count's at 8. Cole asks why he doesn't fight in feet. Riddle talks about a family trip, about how he got frostbitten, and that why he doesn't wear boots. Cole said he can't wait to see what's next for Riddle. At this count, the bro count's at 12. There were 12 words of saying bro. You kidding me? 12 words. 12 times. But Riddle can't do wrong anyways in my eyes because he's really good. So why not, right? Corbin comes out, calls Riddle an idiot, says he embarrassed himself by giving him airtime. The floating bro last week was awesome. Says that he chose to dive after him at the end of SmackDown last week. That everyone should bow down to him. Corbin is a tool. The only thing Corbin's good for is smoking meat, and that would be a Blue Chew segment right there if Blue Chew was here. That everyone should be bowing down to him. That no one likes Riddle. Says every second he'll pay. Corbin says someone needs to slap Riddle and teach him a lesson and respect. And then we get Riddle versus Morrison. That match was great. A lot of parkour, a lot of ground and pound, a lot of intricate things. Riddle's in control for the most of the match. Morrison hits him across the face. That was like deafening noise right there. Riddle gets an arm bar and, does 2 gut wrench suplexes. It's interesting to see if he goes for 3. That's almost like 3 amigos, right? And if the chat agrees, say yes. But Riddle's still holding on to the ankle lock of Morris. Morris is in control as Graves says Morris is the Friday Night Delight. We got the Monday Night Messiah in the chat. We got the Thursday Night Messiah. And now we got the Friday Night Delight. These nicknames are going crazy. Riddle is fighting back, showing his skills with the corkscrew crossbody. Morrison with the knee and running and connecting on everything. Morrison went for the pin on Riddle, count of 2. Riddle wanted more. He was saying, come give it to me. Bring it on with me. I got to start doing that. I'll be honest with you. I am going to try to broaden everything up more. It's just with time-wise. So I do apologize if it's not everything. But it's a learning experience. Other than that, Riddle is begging for it. Wants more of this. Fisherman suit. Riddle hit with the fisherman suplex / driver. It was kind of interesting. Riddle down and Morrison also down as Riddle throws the flip flop at Corbin, which was awesome. Riddle's in control and hits the Broton, and the bro to sleep. Hits the mark right on the button like crazily. What's up, guys? What's up, Pat? What's up, Warren? Sean's in the area somewhere. Robbie's in here. Blue's here. But let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. He kept wanting more. So what ended up happening is that, you know, Morrison with the crucifix slap, Riddle gets the bro mission. Morrison climbs up, Riddle and Morrison, and hits an arm drag slam. It was interesting to see how that went. Patelron, what's up, bud? Grabs the arm, and it almost looks like a freaking arm drag slammed. It was so good. Standing Spanish fly, and this match is completely amazing. Riddle's still in it. Riddle hits the ripcord knee. Riddle basically turns around and hits a power bomb, a running knee, and then a roll up. But AJ runs out, and the brawl starts. Promo afterwards, Corbin, Miz, and Morrison are saying they're gonna cut the legs under his career of Riddle. The match itself was really good. It seems SmackDown's matches are getting up there on par, and they're getting better. Like the next match with AJ and Gulak for the IC title was really good. Styles was in control for the most part, showing why he is the IC champ. Styles raking Drew's face across the apron was interesting to see. You don't see many of these stuff. A lot of the old school moves are coming back, like the atomic drop, an inverted atomic drop, stuff like that. COVID hosed the Dark Order. Oh God, COVID hosed a lot of things. Styles is in completely control still. They do a Zoom call with Brian. Brian says that he looks good, meaning Drew. Graves says Gulak is smart, but he isn't phenomenal. AJ punishes Gulak, and Drew kicks out at 2. Brian says AJ doesn't have the hole. AJ doesn't have a hole in his game. Really good line right there, stating that he is pretty much almost complete in his game. Dragon Whip on Gulak as a setting up for the calf crusher. AJ is fully in control still. Gulak with the submission, but putting pressure on the arm and neck as AJ skips and rolls out. But Gulak with a baseball slide. As commercial comes back, Gulak is in control, and Drew gets it into the turnbuckle. AJ with a brain buster. That was a vicious brain buster. It literally right on the crown. Gets a 2 count, and as Brian gives compliments about Gulak the entire time, how he's technically sound. AJ is in control and takes a beating. This match is, pardon the pun, phenomenal. It's very physical, very intense, and very awesome. Gulak lifts up AJ into the turnbuckle. Gulak with a series of drop kicks, and AJ looks like a pinball bouncing off and down. When he was bouncing off and they said the pinball reference by commentary, I had Tommy playing in the background in my head of who's Tommy, because the pinball wizard. Gulak hits a Michiganu driver. AJ wanted to make him suffer. AJ hits the powerbomb with the Styles Clash combo, drags Gulak, and hits the phenomenal forearm for the win. It was a statement win. It was a win just to make a point that how he is the best of what he does and the best of everything else that he holds. And to put in perspective, he's trying to make Brian and Riddle stand out and be like, hey, you guys, I'm better than you all. You need to pay attention. Promo by Sasha and Bayley saying Sasha 3 shows, Bayley 3 brands. The whole Taker meme that's going around by there, that was just insane. I know, right? That freaking, it came out of nowhere, hit the power bomb, and then the Clash. It was just, that should be a combo move if he uses it. And they're acting like Taker. And then we're going to end up getting a match through this. I'm not going to go through all this whole thing, but Graves is going back, if you notice, more and more to the old nicknames. He's calling Alexa the Goddess. The whole tribute with Sasha and stuff. Bayley versus Alexa. Alexa's in control. As Alexa is drumming, Bayley's on the head of the mat. Alexa pokes Bailey on the nose and knee and moonsault combo as Alexa does, which is always good. Bailey, after Alexa is working on the arm, the whole match was focusing fully on the arm. As the crowd's trying to rally behind it, behind a roll-up pin and a clothesline takes Alexa out. Good combos here and there by Bailey's working on the arm and Alexa's pin. Bailey does a running bulldog, bliss 2 count. Nikki takes out Banks and Nikki has enough of everything. Nikki goes unhinged, and as Banks is wearing both SmackDown titles, the SmackDown title and the women's tag titles, the holds as there's a disqualification. They always say one thing: a picture's worth 1,000 words. That picture of Sasha seeming so innocent and holding the women's title, if that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. So, I mean, that's just one of those things that's pretty much insane. That's what they seem like they're slowly bringing up, leading, giving subtle hints, which is really good. Big E is awesome. We got Kofi and Shinsuke up next after the history lesson of Braun and Bray. There's not much really to cover right there. We already know all that. They should put pins right in front of Big E if they ever do like a special one, and let him roll down and knock him out like a human bowling ball. Kofi's out of the gate, very aggressive, drop kicks. Shinsuke and Kofi are going back and forth, and then Shinsuke basically is in front of the plexiglass as Kofi throws him. Big E's surrounding like one of the hyenas, like he's laughing like crazy, kind of like one of the hyenas from The Lion King. Nakamura trying to take control, but Big E and Cesaro are thrown out. Shinsuke is in control for the most of the match, as a knee drop by Shinsuke, and Shinsuke is basically being very methodical with his attacks. I was hoping he would be on Raw by now. I'm praying they use him soon. Shinsuke is in control of the match still, but Nakamura shows his striking abilities with Kofi rallying back. Shinsuke hits square in the face with an elbow. You know, Kofi's is in trouble, and he missed Trouble in Paradise. Nakamura hits a kick. Kofi hits the SOS for a kick out. Kofi hits the double stomp. You know, that spot was kind of deadly at that point. And Kofi tries to go for another Trouble in Paradise, but Shinsuke wins with a modified Kinshasa. The whole knee part. Cesaro comes out to pull a table, so they might have a tables match at Extreme Rules, which would be very interesting. I think, and now that you bring about the hacker, I'll talk about that in a minute. This whole segment with Hardy has to stop. Just has to. Why are you drubbing up somebody's past when it's just going to hurt somebody? It doesn't make any sense. You know, the entire segment was tasteless. It was bad. Sheamus was talking about how Jeff defended Taker's honor, about Jeff's problems in reality. You know, that he needs to admit his problems. It's sad. Sheamus says it's sad and pathetic, and that it's the same story over and over again. You know, it's just one thing after the other they bring out about the past. Warren made a point, though, that the line that made more sense than anything, that you do not take an inventory of somebody's past. Doesn't matter what it is, but it would be interesting to see that, you know, they don't keep dredging this out. It doesn't make sense to have Hardy keep going through this. You know, Sheamus is being, sorry to say this, a royal dick. It is so pathetic to see the segment going through. Um, it's funny, Sheamus, making fun of things that that Hardy has done in the past, kind of like being a bully. And Shamey says, from one friend to another bombs away, you don't say that. And it's still a whole in bad taste. He always makes points, Warren. At least it's not Goldberg points. Um, but still, he pours the glass over the bartender and then hits him with a bottle and swanton. This whole thing is just ridiculous. Like Warren said when Jeff said this, you don't take inventory of another man's inventory. So, um, Raw was really good. The title belt we'll talk about now. I like it, but I don't like it fully. I know you can make it, Warren. Trust me, I know you can. I like the old style a little bit with the red, white, and blue. I would actually prefer seeing them like a belt with the United States on it for once instead of these red, white, and blue, the Eagles and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I like the belt. It's a nice belt. People were making fun of it doing wrong drawings on the belt. But still, I mean, they could do something a little bit more. You never know. Just like make Mount Rushmore on the plates or something. I don't know. But it's yet to be seen. Apollo wasn't there, so they were doing the presentation on that. The first segment on Raw was a holy shit kind of moment. It was like, what this? I can't believe this happened. McIntyre comes out, which is always the best way for having your champion out first, who can actually speak. Instead of having a mouth guard protector or some crap. Drew says he leveled the playing field by giving Dolph the stipulation for their match. Calls out Jaw. Calls out Dolph and tells him wants to know what the stipulation is. Dolph says he's gonna tell him when the stipulation is, and it's a secret. Says Drew is a backstabber, and if you want to compare resumes, they rehash the past for the most part of this. It's kind of like a history lesson on all these things. But the moment of this whole segment is, oh my god, Heath Slater comes out. Holy shit is knit. Holy crap. And the thing that was interesting when he walked out is the shirt. The shirt, I was like, I gotta get that shirt. The free agent shirt. That is awesome. It's a good way to tie up an ending for him for being with the company so long, and it's nice. I get it, 90-day no compete clause, but still, give the guy a little chance. He's recanting about his history, that he was the first guy to get called up from the main roster. But funny, he wasn't the chosen one. They were putting jabs on each other like friends do. The guy seemed like it with Slater. He was more sincere, more honest. He was talking about his 2 kids, not the 20 that other people think he has. He sees what happened, and when he beat Brock, and he was happy, he almost cried. The passion comes out in him talking to it, and his voice and his body language, his tone, his demeanor. He asked where was Drew for him, because he was there for Drew when Drew got let go. He said he hasn't spoke to him for that long. It was on the bump, and says that there was a petition for them to have them do a match, but that didn't happen. That he's here for his opportunity, and he's asking him to give what he's deserved, as a friend promised him. It's amazing to see how good he's doing. It's amazing how great everything is. And just bye, Warren. Hit me up later, okay? Um, it's good to see how Heath is doing through the whole COVID thing, even though everything else is going great. Um, it's good to see that he's willing to say goodbye to everybody on TV this way, other than just doing the bump. But the match between the two was very short. It was just like a Claymore, and that was it. Ziggler's after Slater. He's trying to get underneath McIntyre's skin. Calls out Dolph as well as, it's an expense to Slater being there. Asuka asking how is she going to handle on the next one would be how basically being alone. She laughs and says, "I'm never alone." Bayley and Sasha saying they're changing the game, that they never sleep. Nikki is a little runt. Bayley says, she will tap Asuka. They're basically setting the match up for her and Sasha and Asuka for later for Extreme Rules, but they're also doing for this now abrupt match. Bayley says Sasha has her number. Kairi's back. Sasha's in control for the most part, and there's a slugfest right out the gate. Kairi slaps Banks, and that was deafening. The match is really good. It's going, Kairi's taking, the control, making Sasha submit, trying, but Sasha reverses the hold. Kairi changes it into an octopus, which looks so painful. It was so harsh to see. But Sasha gets out of it. Kairi kicks Sasha, pins her, and a kick out. Kairi double drop kicks here and there on both Banks and Sasha. After the commercial, Sasha and Kairi are going at it again. Sasha hits a backbreaker, and Sasha places Kairi in the middle of the turnbuckle with the double knees, which was vicious. And Kairi kicks out, and Sasha's in control and tries to do everything to win. Kairi on top, forearm smash, Bank kicks out, series of running blockbusters. That was just awesome to see. These women were putting it out on the ground. Sasha hits a Meteor before a pin combination started with a sunset flip by Sasha. Kairi's is a different variation of the Boston Crab with the legs put together, putting pressure as Kairi hits the Insane Bow on the outside. And this match was nuts. It didn't end in a pinfall or a count out. It was just a DQ. But I can't wait to see what they do next week, because supposedly we're going to be getting a match on Monday against them for the tag titles, for the women's tag titles, which is the Kabuki Warriors. Rollins and Murphy are ambushing Black in the back and puts him on a raised mask on him. It's almost like Seth is using his calling card now. It's only like a psychopath killer who has like an ace against the body. It's kind of like a calling card kind of thing. It's basically to show how dominant Seth can be over his victims. The use of Ray Mask is a way to empower himself, to endear himself, if you will. The Raiders with the promo that going on with Show. Eric says that Edge is a fellow Viking. Said the Show basically slaps the crap out of both of them very, very lightly. And basically the raid's on. KO Show, he basically is saying that once you go to WrestleMania, they're basically tethered to the hip, even though he doesn't want this person to be on the show. and he's a giant piece of trash or expletive. Seth is trying to be sympathetic in this whole thing, even though he's being sociopathic. And the crowd says Seth stinks. Owen has his ankle. Says about his ankle. How's it doing? You know, Seth's ego's in high octane. Kevin gives him crap about all this stuff. Throws him a KO shirt. You know, Seth's trying to use the show now to challenge Ray permanently. Says Seth and Kevin get more of a fight with Seth than against him, rather than being with him, having a purpose to fight for a greater good. Ray comes out and accepts the challenge. Kevin says he'll not be fighting for Seth's side, but he'll be fighting with Ray. You know, this match was really good. The pace of the match was fast and furious. Ray was in full control on Murphy. Owens in as Owen tees off on Murphy. Owens with an inverted atomic drop into a clothesline, but Owens. Murphy tag in Seth and Owens clotheslines in a senton. Owens uses the side of the ring as a drum on the sorry, got a lot of things going through my head. The pace was picking up. Rollins tags out. Murphy takes the brunt of it. Murphy on the top as Rollins tries to egg Dom as he could end the match, and that was a good spot. Trying to force the DQ so Rollins could pick the match. It was the whole storyline throughout this match. You know, so Dom doesn't budge at all. He rakes Dom in the eyes. Back from break, Owens is on the mat as Seth has control, takes advantage of Owens being hurt, and Ray and Murphy in. Ray picks up the pace, and Ray is in full control as Murphy goes into the turnbuckle. Owen takes out Rollins. Black comes out during the match as Rollins is begging for him to be hit, just for the whole disqualification. But Dom intervenes and rakes Murphy in the eye to get so that way Ray can actually win with the 619 and the frog splash. Ray picks the perfect stip. It's called eye for an eye. We don't know what that's going to mean until we get closer to it. Says he's going to pull Rollins' eye out of his socket and show him what a real sacrifice is. Flair says Flair needs to not be there. In this era of COVID, he needs to not be there. It's ridiculous how, they're keeping him out there and not allowing him to do what he needs to. He could actually get hurt or sick. This is a 70-year-old man, over 70 years, Flair's basically stating that they have a mission to do, that everyone, if they don't do it, would have to answer to Randy. And Randy asks if Garza and Andrade are third generation. They both say yes. Asuka and Kairi are having fun doing their promo and stuff. Talking about the tag titles. I already mentioned that. Garza, the 6-man tag match was really good. Show is all slap happy. When he hits that, no problem, man. I'll talk to y'all later. When he hits that slap, it is extremely deafening to hear. It's ridiculous to hear how loud that chop can be. It should have like its own ringtone or cell phone number or something. Jeez. But Eric and Ivar are in and out. Ivar is rolling, isolating Garza in the corner. Andre in. Ivar and Eric being slammed on top of Andrade was awesome. You know, Show picking Ivar up and then picking up Eric was great. You know, Garza being choked, but Randy tees off and says to get their act together and get his head out of his ass. It's just insane. You know, showing his tendencies to like be a legend killer, trying to force them to do it. They come back from commercial and Andrade in. Orton takes control of Ivar. They're isolating Ivar in the corner like a lot of great tag teams do. Ivar rolls over. Eric in. Garza is out cold, it looks like, as Garza turns around and takes control right afterwards. Orton tagged in. And Randy being very methodical on his opponents, taking Eric apart. Andrade in, manhandling Eric, suplex and a pin kick out by 2 by Eric. Randy and Show are trash talking across the ring, yelling at each other. Andrade and Garza do a wishbone on Eric. That looked like extremely painful. Andrade slapped the hell out of Eric and isolated Eric more in the corner. Show in, and Show is rolling. Orton tried to RKO him and pointed out that he had that close. And it wasn't even close. Andrade trying to do a sleeper. Show throws off Andrade. Commentary says the ladies love Ivar. And an RKO on Eric. The Viper strikes. Orton, Andrade, and Garza win. This fast-paced, great match. You know, another promo by Sasha and Bayley, which is really good. To me, they're starting to wear heavily like they did on Charlotte, and it's wearing thin. So hopefully they don't push it. Nikki shows up on commentary, which is gold. Nikki is they call her Naughty Nikki, which is awesome. And Nikki's amazingly on commentary. She basically is joking as Joe tries to hold her back once she sees them. Nikki's all hyped. She's excited to see Asuka and starts dancing. Nikki calls Bayley a trollop. Nikki says to get her chopped, punched, and all that stuff. This match was really good. Asuka is going for an armbar, trying to make Bayley tap out. Nikki got taken away after Bayley slapped her. Asuka's kneed in Bayley, and they cut to commercial. Back from commercial, Bayley's in control as Banks has all the belts, and Bayley is jaw-jacking and trying to get into Asuka's mind. Bayley double axel as Asuka starts to smile and tries to roll up. Asuka is unloading double knees and face up. Drop kicks by Asuka and a knee. Literally, Asuka's unhinged. German suplex, hip attack. This match is completely going on Asuka's side and basically making her even stronger. Asuka caught in the ropes and, spin backed arm. Bayley looks so out of it when that spot hit. It was insane. It looked a lot painful than it did. Asuka's on top, drop kick. Bayley kicks out. Holy crap, this match is great. If this was a pay-per-view match, it would probably be close to the main event. Bayley's saying hi to my commentary team. Bayley's getting frustrated. Asuka pins Bayley and wins. Asuka had been countered, and Nikki's excited. The week in wrestling was really good. A lot of great matches, and I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see how these matches play out. I mean, we have some pretty good matches tomorrow. For the picks I'm having, my mind's telling me that Cole's going to win because I don't pay attention to spoilers. I don't listen to that stuff. But my heart's telling me wants Lee to win, and that would make sense. Mia's going to win in the street fight. Martinez is going to come back, and I think for her, what they're going to do, set up a program with Ripley and have them two go at it. El Del Rio Fantasma versus Breezango and Maverick. That's going to be a really good show. Good match. That might be my pick for the match of the night to be stolen. But before I went on, there was a tweet by Shawn Michaels talking about Gargano and Swerve Scott, saying that could be the match of the night. And I think Gargano is going to win that match. You know, it's going to be one insane thing. Now, as of right now, they haven't added another match. Right now, there's 2, 4, there's possibly 5 matches on there. I wouldn't be surprised if they add another or 2 or anything like that. But I think the Cole Lee match is going to go about 45 minutes or so, and that would be awesome, both of them going after each other. The Evolve deal, I think, is going to be a good thing. Even though some of the talent has already been let go, I think having what they have now from Evolve, they can spin that and use that as an umbrella. Even though some of the talent's going to end up going to NXT anyways, I think a lot of that talent could be used in the UK once all the travel bans start lifting up. And it could be a good idea to have that there. The problem is that with the travel bans, you have a limited amount of people. So it's kind of hard. Let's just say, hey, Johnny, go to the UK to go have a match against Walter or, you know, one of these people. It's kind of hard to do so right now. But hopefully with the Evolve deal, it'll set up something positive for a change. Sarah Rowe and Eric having a baby is an amazing thing. It's a great part of life. It's always something you should strive for if you ever have the right person in your life. Now Vince is probably, as a business person, in a bind because this kind of holds back some of their talent trying to make plans in the future. You have Becky due in December. Obviously, they're going to be private about their matter with Sarah Rowe and Eric. But Charlotte stated that she wants to start a family soon. It puts them in a bind, but they have a lot of up-and-coming talent in the cupboard they need to utilize. Put Ali in the system. Use Liv a lot more. Ruby a lot more. You know, put Bianca back on there. Put Shayna on back there. Use these talents you have and let them use it to their full extent. So. Now the personal stuff. A lot of you know that my mom has been gone for over a year. The video is down there. This week and next are going to be difficult. They say that a person that you love's items are material items. They're just material items. They don't mean much. My mom's car didn't mean much. Her jewelry doesn't. A lot of other things. But the house I grew up did. And does. As of Friday, we're going to be spreading her ashes. And as of Friday, it'll be the last time I can walk in that house. This journey I've been on for the last year or so has gotten me some ups and downs. I've met great people. I've made great friends from this. I'm very humble. I'm very appreciative. I'm very lucky where I am now compared to where I could have been. But that house is the one I grew up in. It's the one I can't go back there anymore. I can't walk in there anymore. I was there today cleaning, and I wanted to just break down. To me, that house was supposed to be the house I was supposed to raise my kids in. And it's not. It's a lot difficult to move forward. Yes, it's an interior object, but that's the house I grew up in. 174 Warwick Street here in Lowell will always be my home. But as much as the memories are great, not having her in that house, not being able to go over that house, not being able to hear her in that house is more painful than anything. As a kid, I always thought that I would be able to have that house, do what I want with it, fix it. But the house is too much to fix. So as of next Tuesday, that house will legally not be ours. And it's very, very hard to not let that sink in. Think about it. Think about it from me. Think about being in your parents' house and you only have one parent living there and they pass. And you always think about it as you're a kid. This is going to be the house I grew up in. This is going to be the house that I'm going to pass on to my kids. This is going to be the house that I'm going to be able to raise my own kids in. And I always thought of that. I always hold that to my heart. That's not the case. Now, I'm a very, very humble person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. My friends would tell you that I could be random. I can be impulsive. I can be brash at times. But the one thing that a lot of you know, a lot of people in the Fightful community know, a lot of people probably in Fightful in general know, that I have a good heart. And putting this out on display makes it a little bit better because I'm talking about what's going through my head rather than keeping it in. But the painful part about all this whole process is finally saying goodbye. And the last piece of that goodbye is my mom. In that house that's been in my family for generations, is saying goodbye to that house. I don't know what to do from here. I don't know how I will feel after I give my keys up and walk away. Because it's different for me to know that if something happens with the place I'm living now, that I have a place to go rather than not knowing now. That house will always be my house. That house will always be the place I grew up in. And my God, this is going to be my show. And my God, this is going to be happening every day. Me being in pain or not. I want to say thank you for everybody who's showing love and support. I want to show appreciation to Fightful because without them in my life in general, besides my friends and my family, I would probably not be doing this. And I probably won't be talking about what's going through my head. So I know you're listening, Sean. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Warren, and thank you, Rob. At the end of the day, we have each other. At the end of the day, we need each other. And we need positivity in our lives. And at the end of the day, looking forward to something good can be a thing. I did something with Sean, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. And it has to wait. And I just want to tell you guys I appreciate for your guys' patience too. It's going to be a very difficult journey. It's going to be very difficult in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to be a difficult month. But I'll get through with it, and I have great friends, great family. I have great people that care about me deeply and are proud of me. And I can't wait to see what's next. So, on that note, hit the bell, spread the word, subscribe. If that bell ain't on and you're not finding out what's going on, then you're probably listening to the wrong song. Spread everything. If anybody in the chat can help, that'd be great. I have a couple of goals I'm going to want to set, and this is the first time I set. My mom's birthday is November 19th. By November 19th, I want to hit 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I actually want to get close to 1,000 subscribes by then. This show's already at 114, and I really appreciate all the 114 people that have. I just want to do right. So, hit up these people. Tell them you've heard from me. Show them love. Show them your appreciation. You know, people like Jeremy Lambert, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Sapp, everybody at the Fightful team. Go to Fightful.com, become a select member. You know, go check out the shows with Denise Salcedo on tomorrow at 3 o'clock on Listing Your Boy. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of a little jealous about that. But I'm happy for her because she's a great person. Go check out the Monday Night Wars with Lewis, Warren, and Alex. Go check out the Smackdown review with, Warren, with Sean and Warren. Go become a member at the Select. Eventually Sean will be wearing a Red Sox jersey or a Bo Sox jersey. Go to BellstoBelles.com. Go check out the stuff they're doing. Congratulations to Kristen to being part of the PW Insiders team to do the review, to do ranking system. Go on Thursdays, check out Mr.Warren Hayes' show. He just announced that he will be doing his show on YouTube and on Facebook for the first time. That is awesome, and I can't wait to see it on both ends, see how everything goes. Just show love, show appreciation. I can't wait to see what happens. I hope you guys are there for the journey. And then just check up and see how I'm doing, I guess. The next week's going to be difficult because the more and more it gets closer to the 14th, the more and more it's going to get harder. I appreciate everybody. Got a lot of love for everybody. Do a good deed. And DMGC probably does deserve justice at this point if it's still going, because it's already crossed all brands. But thank you, Sean, Rob, and Warren for being around and being there. Much love to you guys. Much appreciation to y'all. And I'm out.